Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Faith Amina, and the last video I did like 7 videos or 7 steps on how to upgrade your life, reinvent yourself. And today I'm just coming back with a little chit chat. I'm a certified yapper, so I love to talk, so this will be easy for me. And I'm just going to give you guys like an update of what's been going on in my life since I filmed that video. So I filmed that video on August the 1st, 2024. I uploaded it on September the 17th, 2024. That's my birthday. And today is October the 5th, 2024. And a lot has changed in that span of time. So those tips that I was telling you guys about were tips that I had used and I have found and I thought about over the last year and a half. Well, about a year. I want to say October 2023, I really got serious and I decided that I wanted to change myself. I wanted to reinvent myself, and I started with the inner work, and then I was going to come out and show you guys with the outer work. But within that 1 year, I want to tell you what I did and what changed for me. And then I also want to tell you like what happened from October the 1st to now. A lot has happened in a short amount of time, and I can only say thank you, God. Thank you, God. Things have changed, and I'm going to touch on that towards the middle to the end of the video, but I just have to take you back to October 2023 real quick. So if you're want to know what's going on in my life, if you just like listening to yip yap, if you are a certified chit chatter like I am and you like to listen to chit chat, then that's my channel. I don't do a lot of editing. I'm trying to give it to you guys raw, how it comes. I might, touch some things up in between, but I want to be my authentic self and my true self. I don't want to do clickbaits and all those things. I really want to give you guys me and who I am, and I hope you guys like it, and I hope we can build a community. So let's get started. All right, so let me take you guys back to October 2023. I had just turned 30, and I was just like, I want my life to be different. I don't want to keep doing what I was doing. Nothing wrong with what I was doing. Like, I was living a great life, but I was coming out of depression. And before I was coming out of depression, I was depressed. And I was like, I don't want that life anymore. I want to be happier. I want to be joyful. I want to be living life. I don't want life to live me. I don't want life to pass me by. I want to be living life. I don't know if you ever for me, I watch a lot of TV, and I can fall asleep watching TV. And then people like, what did you do last night? I was like, well, I was watching TV. And I was like, actually, TV was watching me. I wasn't watching TV. And I felt like that's what life was. Like, life was watching me. Life was living, and I wasn't living life. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I decided that I wanted to change. I decided that I was going to sign up for a gym, and I did. I was going to this gym. It was very fancy, very nice, because that's the kind of things I like. It was a pretty penny. It was like $175 a month to be a member at this gym. And it was about 45 minutes to an hour away from my house, but it was in like a really nice part of town. And I really liked it. It was very nice. We had workout centers, showers, they provided soap, it was a sauna, a whirlpool, a slide, all the things. Really, really nice gym. One day I aspired to go back to that gym, but I stopped going because I wasn't going as often because I didn't live close. And like the first 3 months I was like motivated, and then Christmas hit, traveling hit, and I was just like, I'm spending $175 and I'm going once a month. So to get my money's worth, it was like, oh, I should be going like at least 3 times, but I wasn't going 3 times. Well, I was in the beginning, and then like November I did really well, or October I did really well, November I did really well, December I traveled, and when I came back in January, I was trying to go, but I was going like once or twice, and then February I only went 1 time, and that was enough for me to be like, okay, we paid $175 to go 1 time. Nah. So I discontinued the membership and I got ClassPass. Love ClassPass. I'll talk about that later in another video, but that started me on my like fitness journey, getting into a routine. Even though I dropped the routine, I was still like start moving and having movement. So that was really a great thing that I implemented in my day-to-day. I started really caring about how I looked. So before, I always cared about how I looked, but before, when I was depressed, it was very like baggy pants. And not to say like baggy pants isn't your style, it's just not my style. And I look kind of frumpy and not really put together, and that's not who I am or what I wanted to do. And I'm still working on it. Like I don't always look put together every day, but I try and I'm intentional about it. And that was something that I wanted to change. I wanted to be more intentional about what I wore, how it made me feel, how I thought about myself in the mirror. If I walked past and I saw a glimpse of myself, I wanted to be like, ooh, you cute. And not look past and be like, ooh, why did I come out the house like that? And that was happening a lot of the time. So that's something that I changed. I start talking more to my friends, and just like when I was depressed, I wasn't talking, I was shutting down, I would just be listening. And now I can actually be able to like hold a conversation and talk to somebody and listen to them and be able to give feedback and give my opinion and laugh and have fun. And I feel like when we get in our late 20s, it's hard to find friends. Or like if you grew up in the era of like Drake, no new friends, it was like, I don't need no new friends. And that was a mentality that I had for a long time, and I had to break myself out of that. And I was like, I want new friends. I love my friends that I have now. They are my girls. I love them to pieces. They'll be in my wedding. But it's nothing like, expanding yourself and seeing like other people and having other people in your life, because you get to see different points of views. And I was only seeing our point of view. Like I already know their point of view, I know my point of view, but it's something else when you see other people's point of view. Also, when you see people who are working in different fields, it inspires you to change and do more and have things. And so that's what I was seeking more of, newness. So I was going out to like networking events, I was meeting new business owners. I'm also a business owner, so I was networking with people, and not really like networking, but like just going out and meeting people and not being afraid to like talk to people, even if it didn't lead me anywhere, even if it was like, I met you today and I'll never see you again. At least I was able to make that connection for that night, and that really propelled me to bigger and better things. And that was something I really appreciated that I did for myself. I really pushed myself out of my comfort zone. Before the pandemic and before depression, I used to go places by myself, and I still go places by myself, but I would go places by myself and make friends at those places. And this is back when I lived in DC, and me and my friends would go out and people would be like, oh hey, and I'm like, hey. My friends would be like, how do you know them? I'm like, I don't know, I think we met somewhere, I don't know. But I want to go back to that. I want to be in spaces and people are like, oh hey, and I'm like, hey. But this time around, I want to be able to be like, oh, that's so and so, I met them, blah 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 blah. Which is so funny, because that reminds me of the conversation I had earlier today that I'll tell you guys about in a second. And then I just really became more comfortable with myself, talking to people, making connections. And after that was all done, I'm trying to fast forward through some things. I went out more. I went to ballets. I went to the Kennedy Center. I went out to try new restaurants. I've setting up travel things or going local places. Like I went to Delaware. Supposed to be a solo trip, did not end up being a solo trip. Very crazy trip to Delaware, but it was interesting. It was fun to know, to see. And I went back home to Atlanta to visit my mom and spend time with her, with friends. So that was really good. So here's all the big things that I want to tell you guys about that has changed. And I'll dive deeper into those other stories at later times. But the big thing I want to tell you guys about is after I did all that work and I implemented all those strategies that I told you back in my other videos, the 7 steps to reinvent yourself. I want you to go back and watch it. I don't want to tell you too much. After I did all of that, it's so funny because I recorded that on August 1st, and August 2nd, I had a date with this guy that I did not know, who's currently now my boyfriend and will be my husband. And I recorded that video. I got my hair done. I knew I had a date. I was going on a trip to West Virginia with my friends, and all those things that I had been working on from October 2023 up until like August 1st were all coming together, and it was all pushing me towards who I am today and who I always really been. But I want to just share the experience of what has happened in between that time and now. So when I recorded that video, I was single, I was going out, I was dating. In January 2024, I decided I was going to be real intentional about dating, and I was going to write down all the things I wanted in a man. I was going to pray about it. I was going to be open to new things. And so I started dating, and I was dating guys that were like not really my type, but I was like, maybe I'm like, you know, going for the wrong people, because previously I had this very handsome boyfriend, but he was very much a liar, lied about everything. He said he was a architect, never was an architect, said he didn't have kids, had kids, said he graduated college, didn't graduate high school, like just lies. But he looked good. I won't take that from him, but he's a liar, and those two don't go together for me. So coming out of that into 2024, I was like, I really want to like step out of my comfort zone, maybe date other people, really get to know people, really have conversations. I was being abstinent. I didn't want to have sex with anybody unless we were like in a committed relationship or on the road to marriage. And that was me just being kind of lukewarm, because I really wanted to wait to marriage, but I didn't want to tell anybody that because I didn't want to look crazy. I've already had things like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and I want a certain kind of lifestyle. So to then add on top of like, oh, and I don't want to have sex until marriage, just felt like a lot. So I was trying to like downplay. I was like, well, I'm not trying to, you know, do that unless we're in a committed relationship. And so I went on this date with this guy. He was fantastic, great gentleman guy. Physically, I just wasn't attracted to him. And I know people could say, you know, physicality can like change, and you can be more attracted to him as time went on, but there was nothing about this man physically that I really liked, and I did not think that was fair to him, because he deserved somebody who really was like, this man is foreign, I can't wait to XYZ, fill in the blank. And that's not what I had for him. I thought he was a great guy. His personality was great. He was funny. He was genuine. He was he made really good money. Like, all the things that I said on paper that I wanted was there, but physically it wasn't there, and I didn't think that was right for him. Went on a date with another guy. We just didn't mesh, and I'll tell you guys about that. That was the Delaware trip I was talking about, and that was a whole different other story. If you want to know about the Delaware trip, comment down below Delaware, and I will tell you guys, it was crazy. And I have pictures, not of the man, but of me, because I'm cute. But yeah, that was crazy. What else happened? Both guys were like, you know, you're a great girl, da da da. I ran into some exes or some old things, you know, they like to spin the block. And I was like, let me see what y'all talking about. Let me see if you changed. Did not change. Very scary, very, very, very weird. And I'll just tell you a snippet of it. The guy was a insurance seller of, I don't know if we can say these online, firearm. Like, he sold insurance for firearms, and he was selling me, like, we was going over his pitch in my kitchen, and he got very, very, very scary. Like, I think he was drunk, but it went from selling firearm insurance to selling women body parts. And I was just like, how do we get here? And he's like, in my face, he's like, this is the best you ever had, da 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 da. And I was just like, I'm scared. Please stop doing that. He didn't stop. And so eventually, I didn't kick him out my house, but he was like, oh, I need to go back home. And I was like, oh, thank God. I've been praying. I was trying to figure out how I was going to get you out of my house, blah, blah, blah. He left. And then as soon as he left, I was like, yeah, I don't think we should ever see each other again. There's so much more to the story, but that's just like the cliff notes. Of course, he called me out my name. It was a crazy, crazy time. But after all that was said and done, I kept going. I didn't let that tarnish me. I kept trying to date people, kept going out there and meeting men and like putting myself out there, but being like, hey, I'm not about to do this unless we're in a committed relationship. Yeah, so that was me. And then during the summer, I was dating, but I wasn't dating. I was just having fun, living my dream life, going to Pilates, eating, making food, dressing up, doing my own thing, had a ball. And so I'm leading up to August. So I'm on the apps, I'm on Hinge, and I'm talking to people, texting people, having a good time. And after a couple of dates, I went on this date with this one particular man, and I was telling him like, oh, I'm trying to wait until I'm in like a committed relationship before I have sex. And he was like, I think that's crazy. I don't know who's gonna do that. It's like you're trying to dangle a carrot in front of somebody. You can't withhold sex. Like, that's a part of dating now. Like, you gotta have sex. And it really made me sad. Like, I ended up crying on the couch next to this man, and all this man said to me was, sorry to bust your world, and left it at that. No consoling, no like, it's gonna be okay, like none of that. And so I was like, oh, you're definitely not the one for me. We can wrap this up right now. But also I had to think about it like, you're lying. That might be your reality, but it's not my reality, because previously the guys I've dated was like, okay, no problem. When do you want to be in a relationship? Like, let's date for a couple of months and then we can be in a relationship like it's nothing. And I had that in the back of my mind in like the end of July. So when I went on the date with my boyfriend now on August 2nd, I'm a yapper. As you can tell, I've been yapping this whole time. I was on the date yip yapping. Look cute though. I was cute, but I was yip yapping. I was telling him everything, like, oh, this is what I want in a house. Oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Oh, I want to have 5 kids. Oh, I want to have a big house. Oh, I want to do these. I want to have a garden. I want to have chickens. I want to have ducks. And then I was like, I kind of want to wait until marriage, but like, I know that's kind of like crazy. So like, I'm like waiting until I'm in like a committed relationship. And this whole time, this man is just sitting there, just listening to everything I'm yip yapping about. And he had really good conversation too, though. Like, he was talking to me. It flowed. I think we had our date at 7. I think he walked me to my car, and we didn't leave until like 12, which is really big for him because he's an early sleeper. And so like having him out at 12 was like crazy for him, but for me, I was like, oh no, this is great, this is fair. I can keep going, let's keep talking. And so it was a really good day. And after that date, he was like, would you want to go on another date? I was like, yeah, I want to go on another date. And so I think we went on a total of like 4 dates before it was like, yeah, this is my man, you're my boyfriend. We talk every day. It went from, and like, I don't know if the saying is still the thing, but it's like he had his foot on my neck. He was not letting up. Every weekend we was on a date. Like, I think the second we went on a date, the next following weekend we was on another date. The next following weekend we was on another date. The next following weekend we was on another date. The next following weekend it was like, I want to see you throughout the week. So it was like a date in the week, throughout the week, and on the weekend. And then it went just from like, now we see each other, we talk to each other every day, because we're in a committed relationship. And it's so funny because on our second date, he was like, last date you mentioned that you want to wait till marriage, and so do I. Look at God. I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's no problem. Like, I'm trying to wait till marriage too. Of course we should still keep dating each other, but like, I'm not trying to get in your pants. I really want to get to know you. And then I think what really was like a trivial moment for me, I don't know if that's the right word, trivial. I don't think trivial is the word I'm trying to use. A turning point for me is when he invited me to go to church with him. And so I say this now, like, before I met him, I was jogging with God. Like, I had a slow walk because for a while my faith in God was very much a mustard seed, which is so ironic because my name is Faith, and I could talk to you guys about that at another time. But it was a mustard seed, and it was growing increasingly. Like, I was growing it myself. I was getting more into the church. I was listening to the word more. I was praying more. I was seeking more guidance from God. And when I met him, he was like, oh, I go to church every Sunday if I'm in town. This is the church that I go to. Would you want to come to church with me? And I was like, sure. And I want to say a couple of weeks before, I was like, I really need to go to church. I want to go to church more. And there's a church that I go to that I really like. But I was like, I'll stream it at home online because, we got a lot of things to do. I'm gonna wash my clothes. I'm gonna clean up while I'm listening to church. But if you asked me what the pastor talked about, I was like, I don't know. I was there. I listened. I know, but I wasn't retaining it. So when he asked me to go to church with him, I was like, yeah. I was just prayed about wanting to go to church more. So yeah. So we went to his church. Church is really nice. Church is very black. I love that. I hope the right audience got that. It felt like home. It felt really sweet. It felt like community. I didn't feel like a newcomer. Like, people were really nice to me, and the church was really nice, and he's really nice. And so we made a commitment to each other that if he's in town and I'm in town, we would go to church together. But I was like, okay, I love that, but I don't want to just go to your church only. Like, I want to also go to my church. And he was like, okay. So now I think it's every 2 Sundays we go to my church. Every 2 Sundays we go to his church. So we went to his church 2 Sundays in a row. Then we go to my church 2 Sundays in a row. And we alternate like that. And I like that for us. And it's been going pretty well. And we both get something different from both of our churches. And not to say like his church is better and my church is better. Just our churches are different. His church is a little more, I want to say, traditional Baptist black church. And my church is a little like new age. I don't know if they're Baptist or not. And I guess I should know that. But new age, the pastor's younger, I guess what some older people will call like a black box church. We have different sites. They stream it. His church streams too, but we have like different sites throughout Maryland so people can like go to. And I'm just really happy, y'all. I don't know how else to put it. This man is truly God sent. There's so many things that I know that he's God sent because there's things that I prayed to God about that I wrote down, and he does it without me even like saying it. Like, he'll just do it randomly, or he'll just do it naturally, and I'm just like, I love this. Like, I don't open doors anymore if he's around. I barely pay for anything. Like, I have to fight with this man to pay for things because I just am like, let me pay for something. And he was like, you don't have to. And I love that for me. Like, I'm in his office at church. He works at a church as a accountant, which I think is really cool. I didn't even know churches need those things. I mean, of course they do, but I never thought about church having like a business aspect to it, but duh. So, and then later on today, we're going to go looking at some houses that are like dream houses. We're going to start visualizing ourselves in these places, and we have a plan on how we can make it happen. Like, truly, I think the reason why I went through that long stretch of time, and just any stretch of time with anybody, was I had to work on myself. I had to learn the things that I did and did not like in certain in men. Things that I will and will not take, things that I took and that I said I won't take that anymore. Like, I won't tolerate anybody like calling me on my name. I don't think anybody ever called me on my name to my face. I know they probably said it in their head or like when they were talking to their homies. But I truly don't think he would ever like call me on my name, even if he was talking to his homies, because we've had conversations about like speaking in love, like speaking to people in love, because you can say things really mean, and I've said things really mean in anger, but if you take a second and think about like, I love this person and I don't want to call them a bald-headed scallywag. I want to say, you right now might not be the time for us to talk. Let me go over here, you go over there, and I'll come back to you when the time is needed. But because I want to talk to people in love. I want you to feel loved. I want you to know that I love you. And when I say you, I mean you who are watching, you who are listening, you who are around me in person. If like, I want people to know that I love them. I want to give them love, and I'm glad that that's who I am now. I remember there was a time up until I met my boyfriend, that men would ask me like, why are you single? Why are you single? And at first it was like, I don't know why I'm single. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, I had to do some maturing. I had to do some growing. I had to do some learning of who I am. And I started saying that like 3 or 4 months before August. And I really truly do think I really had to like do the work and say, okay, Faith, what do you like? Okay, Faith, what are some of the things you don't like? Okay, Faith, what are some of the things that you are doing that you want to change or that you don't like? And it was shutting down. I was shut down. I wouldn't be able to like express how I felt. I wouldn't be able to tell people how I'm feeling. I was just shut down. And I have to, now I still do shut down, but I might say, hey, I'm processing this right now, so give me a second, or give me a little bit of time. Let me think this through, and then I'll be able to tell you how I feel. But I had to go through these times to set up that so I can be who I am, so I can receive this kind of love, so I can receive this kind of like grace, because this is what I give out to people. So in the midst of, to bring it all back together, because I will yap, from August to October, it's been about 2 months. He's my boyfriend. He asked me to be his girlfriend. It's very sweet. I'll probably keep that for him and I. We talk about marriage, we talk about kids, we talk about the future, and I believe him. I believe that the things that I want are the things that he wants. The things that he wants are some of the things that I want, and we just really fit well together. What else has been happening? I've been growing my business. He's I think I mentioned that he's an accountant at a church, so he's really good with numbers and money, and so like I can bring him. Well, I didn't have a budget, but I still don't have a budget, but we're working on having a budget, or having me have a budget. So that's really nice to like be vulnerable and share my money situation with him and not feel judged, because I get by. I do good. I do well. But where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do, I will need a budget. And he's like, yeah. And he was like, why don't you have a budget? And I was like, I'm actually kind of scared. And he was like, oh, it's nothing to be scared of. Let me show you. And we sat down. We like did the things. And it was really nice to have like be handheld through that process. I feel like sometimes we get thrown into the adult world and it's like, yeah, budget your money, save your money, pay your bills. And it's like, okay, but how? How to pay my bills and still have a life and still save? Because to have a life, you gotta pay. You gotta go out with your friends for brunch, for lunch, for dinner, for clubs, for drinks. Not too many things are free unless we're going on a walk. But to get there, I gotta pay for either the train, the bus, the car. So like all these things, and it's just really nice. It's just really nice. I'm extremely happy. I don't think this might be the honeymoon phase, but I really truly do think like the honeymoon phase is a mind of thought. Like if you talk things out and you communicate with somebody, I think the honeymoon phase can last a lifetime. If you change your mind on like, oh, this is just a phase, as into this is my reality, this is my world, maybe that's what it will be. We haven't had any big arguments, but we are very good at communicating, so I don't think we're gonna have arguments. He's like, be realistic. There may be things that we don't like, or we have like disagreements. I think it's all about how we communicate with each other when we have those disagreements. And I'm just like, okay, but I think because we're so aligned, because we're so aligned, I don't see us having arguments. I don't usually have arguments in my day-to-day or in my life. Like I think the last argument I had was with my mom back in January, and that's just because she's my mother and she knows how to get on my nerves, and I'm her daughter and I know how to get on hers. And before then, I think our last argument was like a year or two before. Like I don't really get into many arguments with people in general, so that's not my thing. I know people can't argue, but I'm not a big arguer. So I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. It's only been two almost 3 months now. And I'm just really excited, and I'm not gonna show you guys who he is until we're married. But I will talk about him on this channel. What we're doing today, well, today is the 5th. My father passed away on October the 3rd, 2020. Not even 2020, 2008. And so this past October 8th, the 3rd, was his 16th year anniversary. And I was 16 when he passed away. So it really kind of hit me hard. Like, you've been gone for half my life. And there's so many things you wasn't here to get to see. And I wish you was here. And it was just like a day that I needed to take for myself. And he was right there. He was very sweet. He let me spend the night. He let me do the things I wanted to do. He let me cry if I needed to cry. He let me talk about it if I wanted to talk about it. We read my father's favorite Bible verse together. We listened to a lot of my father's favorite music, which was Marvin Sapp and Fred Hammond. And so it was just a really nice day that and we went to a Caribbean restaurant because my father's from Trinidad and Tobago. We actually went to a Trinidadian restaurant. He had Trinidadian food for the first time. It was really funny. It was really cute. But just like moments like that where it's like, thank you to him, thank you to God, thank you to myself for like being on this journey and having an open heart and being so open and able to do those things. So that's my life update. I'm currently on a social media sabbatical. I am going to take the month of October to batch work, do some batch filming so I can be more consistent and with my goals and things. And it's so crazy because my boyfriend's like, you know, send me videos so I'll learn how to be a good cameraman and so I can get the angles. And so it's just been really nice, and I'm really excited for where this goes. And I say, like, even if this doesn't go to where I think it's gonna go, I appreciate this kind of energy because I can never go back. We can only go up. And so far the bar is set pretty high, and it continues to move higher and higher because he does amazing things like all the time. So yeah, I believe this is my man. If God has something else for me, then that's God's plan. I can only follow his plan. But I won't be going back. I'll tell you that much. I can't go back. We can only go forward. So that's the update. This is the first video of many videos that I'm going to be recording for October that I will be rolling out throughout November and December. Not even fingers crossed. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I'm challenging myself. I want to be more consistent. I want to grow my YouTube channel. I want to grow my brand. I don't know why that was hard for me to get out. I want to grow my brand, and I'm open to all the new things that God has for me and experiences. And I want to bring you guys along. So today we are actually in Virginia, and we're going to go look at some houses. Like I mentioned before, I want to have a big family, so I want to have 5 kids. And I know that's like, girl, what? That's a lot. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I'm only child, and I kind of grew up with a lot of kids. My mom did foster care, so we always had like kids cycling in and out of our house. So I want 5 kids. He's down with it. And that means we need a house that's going to be at least 6 bedrooms or bigger. So today we're going to go look at houses that are 6 bedrooms or bigger and with land, because I want at least 3 acres of land, because I want to have my own like little garden and be able to produce my own food, or majority of my food. Like, I want to say 80 to 85% of my food I want to be able to produce and source from my own garden. So we're going to go look at houses. I will show you guys a sneak peek probably on my Instagram and TikTok. So this is a shameless plug. My Instagram and TikTok would be down below. I want you guys to come see these 6 bedroom houses with lands that we're about to go look, and we're going to start envision ourselves there and like manifesting and envisioning us like in these areas, because these are the things we want. So we have to be in those places, feel it, see it, experience it, and know that it's coming to us. So that's what we're doing. I'll bring you guys along on that. But that will probably be on my TikTok or Instagram. So if you want to see these beautiful houses, because I've already looked them up on Zillow and looked at all the pictures, but now we're going to see it like in person. Come over to those channels and check and see if those are uploaded yet. If you don't see it uploaded, comment on one of my old videos or whatnot, and not bully me, but like kind of be like, hey, where's the beautiful houses? Like, we want to see them. So yeah, this is a life update. I love you guys from the bottom to the top. I'm Faith Amina. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate you to join this community that I'm trying to build. Not even trying to build, that I'm building, that I've been building, but this time I'm being more consistent and intentional about it. So if you're on your glow up journey, or if you want to share some tips and tricks that you have, share them down below. If you are interested in relationship things, I'll be sharing that as well. And entrepreneurship things, I'll be sharing that, and just living life. So until next time, guys. See you.